Hi Sean, here's Paola. I run the website thepowerofozone.com, and I also have a YouTube channel with the same name where I talk about ozone therapy and also about the carnivore lifestyle. So I've been aware about the carnivore diet for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, but I only started eating carnivore myself, like 100% carnivore, only in March, April 2018. And so what I realized in those since then is a couple of things that have improved. Some have improved dramatically. So one of the things that I had before I started on the carnivore diet was I had a really, really bad right hip pain, and it had grown worse and worse before April 2018, so before I went carnivore. So in the months prior, the pain was increasingly getting worse, and it was getting so bad I was pretty sure that I would have to have a hip replacement, and it impaired my movement and walking to the point that whenever I was getting out of the car, I was so embarrassed of my movements. I basically looked like an 80-year-old woman, although I'm in my 40s. And so I was so embarrassed that before I would get out of the car, I would look around to make sure that no one was watching me getting out of the car. It was so embarrassing. So it was a really bad pain, and in my opinion, this had also to do with the fact that at that time, I started eating a lot of high oxalate foods like carrots, beets, red beets, and yellow beets, and celery root. And in that time, that hip pain had escalated. And so in April of 2018, I went carnivore, and the pain got better by 95 or more percent within 3 days. So within 3 days of me going carnivore, the pain had essentially completely disappeared. And before that, I had that for 4 months. For I think it was around for half a year that the pain was there. So that was one thing that got better with the carnivore diet, that got dramatically better. Another thing was stiffness in the morning. So before going carnivore, for years I had noticed an increasing morning stiffness in my whole body, essentially. So the first movements after waking up and getting up would be very, very impaired, very painful, and just stiff. And I kind of took this in stride, thinking, this is just a normal occurrence of aging. But then after going carnivore, that stiffness disappeared within a few days. And so I've been carnivore now ever since. So basically, how much is this? A year and a half around. And the stiffness is still gone. And what may be also interesting to note, that I transitioned to the carnivore diet from a paleo diet. So I had been on the paleo diet for 9 years. So for 9 years, I have not been eating any grains, any sugar, any refined foods, any dairy, but I still would have that stiffness. So and that's only disappeared after I went full on carnivore. Then another thing that also improved was 2 injuries that I had, one in my right wrist, the other in my right ankle. And that was something because I fell walking several times, and those injuries never wanted to heal. And there was nothing broken, like the x-rays didn't show anything, but it just would not want to heal. And that was like a year-long injury. So in a year, those 2 joints just would not heal up. And then after I went carnivore, within I think a few weeks to a month, the pain was markedly improved, and now a year and a half later, it's now completely fine. Another thing that also improved on the carnivore diet were my allergies. So my allergies, the first time I had to deal with allergies was 20 years ago. Back then, I successfully treated it with acupuncture. But then in 2017, they came back. So I started, in the summer, I started sneezing. My eyes went red and itchy, and snot was coming out of me all the time. It was just a huge nuisance. And so I was already prepared that the next year in 2018 it would get even worse. But as it turned out, because in March, April, as I said, 2018, I went carnivore. And there were no allergies. I had no allergies at all that summer of 2018. And now it's summer of 2019, and still no allergies, no sneezing, no snot, no runny nose, no itchy eyes, no red eyes, nothing. So this is another theory that I have, that I think the allergies did have something to do with a high oxalate diet that I was on previously. And so once I cut out all the oxalates and went just 100% carnivore, all this improved dramatically. So from, having pretty bad allergies, I went to zero. No allergies at all. Also, an interesting thing is something that I had for 20 years, if not longer, was that every time then it would rain, my nose started running. And this is very unusual, and I don't know if this had anything with allergies, because usually people who have allergies, their allergies improve when it rains. But in my case, my nose would always start running when it was raining. And as I said, I had this for a very, very long time, and this also disappeared since going carnivore. So so this is my story. Other things improved also as well: sleep, energy, things like that. But my case is a little more complicated by the fact that I have a connective tissue disorder, and I was diagnosed with atlantoaxial instability, so cervical instability. So it's a little tricky for me to say if I feel fatigued. It's most probably due to the cervical instability. But yeah, other things have improved as well. But it's difficult for me to say what role the carnivore diet played in that, or other factors. But the ones that I mentioned, the hip pain, stiffness in the morning, right hand wrist injury, right ankle injury, and the allergies, those definitely improved with a carnivore diet. And so this is my testimonial. I hope this was helpful. Bye. Take care.